Hi everyone, how are you doing today? I am Gerald, Ginger Gerald Stitcher, if you forgot because it's been so long. I am back for another update and a chat with you all. I hope you have all been well in this last 6 months or 5 months since I've seen you last, and that everything is going all right. A lot of things have been happening in my life that kind of pulled me away from YouTube for a little bit, along with just kind of an interest to not really be on social media. So let's rewind a little bit and say my last video was mid-April, and since then I kind of, because of the pandemic and being isolated, I kind of lost interest in being on social media or connecting with people on social media because I was really looking for that in-person connection. And so one reason was because work was remote working. I was working from home and I was so inundated with meetings and virtual get-togethers, excuse me, via Google Meets and Zoom, that sitting in front of a camera talking just didn't really feel, that's not what I was looking for in my life at that time. So since then, a lot of things have changed. We are back to school. Our students have started in a hybrid situation. And in September, throughout the summer, I did go back to work in person in July. And at that time, I was also promoted to a supervisor position. So I'm the high school supervisor for my school, which means I'm basically like the assistant principal for high school instruction. And I supervise a whole bunch of people. Excuse me, again. So with that, work has been inundating and, long hours trying to prepare for going back to school in September. And I've just been tired. But with that, I have gotten a lot done. And I have a whole bunch of stuff in front of me to show you. But I just really wasn't feeling, and I still haven't been on any other social medias. I haven't watched much of any FlossTube or YouTube, just because I've been really looking for that in-person connection. So that's basically my life in a nutshell in the past 6 months. I go to work, I come home, and I craft and I watch TV because there's not really much you can do. In New Jersey still, we are limited on what is open, what is not open. Our gyms finally just opened up with masks on, and I am wearing my mask. I've gone once to the gym. I'm probably going to go either today or tomorrow again. So that's fun and exciting, but also, our restaurants are slowly starting to open up. We're now at like 25% capacity indoors. So that is good. But I did take a couple trips. I did go to Ithaca, New York for a long weekend because they are much more progressed on the limitations. And so a friend and I went up to Ithaca for a long weekend, and that was pretty nice and relaxing. And then I also took a day trip down to Atlantic City, just overnight. It's only like an hour for me, but it was just kind of nice to get down to the shore, walk the boardwalk, and do those kind of fun things that we haven't really gotten to do this summer. And now summer is almost gone because it's like 40 degrees this morning, and it's pretty darn cold. So let's get right on into it. I will be honest, my stitching kind of took a hiatus for quite a while during these last 5 to 6 months. I think I took a 3-month break on stitching, and I didn't do any stitching in that time. But I was really gung-ho with the knitting, and you're going to see that. And I didn't even pull all of my projects out to show you. These are the ones that I have been either finished or that I'm really focusing on working on. Yeah. I'm out of touch here, people. I can't speak very well, apparently. So first off, I did finish a pair of socks. These are just my standard socks, but instead of doing the after toe heel, I did put in the standard, the heel that I first learned. So that's the, I don't know what this heel is called, just the standard heel. Just because I wanted the colors to blend well and try to be as close as possible. Of course, they're not exactly perfect in matching, but I really, really like these. These are really, really soft. I forget what the name is of the yarn, and I didn't pull another cake out to show you. I do have some other yarn in there, but yeah, those are a lot of fun. I have not worn them yet. Then I have 4 scarves that I finished. So the first one I think you've seen, maybe I showed you this one finished, I don't remember, but this is the Dentato scarf by Manos del Uruguay. And it is knit with Holst Garn Coast. And here is what it looks finished. Of course, it's been folded up, and this is I'm drawing blanks on words now. This is blocked, and now it's been folded up in my bedroom. So here we go. There is the center, and so that's a really, really nice soft scarf. Really, really like this one. This was a lot of fun to knit. Maybe I'll make another one. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to try to keep some semblance of order here because of the piles of stuff that I have in front of me. Then I knitted a Fisherman's rib scarf. This is from, oh, let me pull up my patterns here because I don't remember the name of this one. Here we go. This is Hayes from Brooklyn Tweed. It's a Fisherman's rib striped scarf. I used Holst Garn Super Soft for this one. And here is the finished look. I made it a little bit longer than what the pattern said, just because I wanted to have plenty of yarn to use for like wrapping and in the coldest months of the year. So there is all done. So because I did that one, I got the urge to, I haven't really bought a whole lot of stuff. I've not bought any cross-stitch stuff at all, but my knitting stuff, I have been buying some new yarns, but I wanted to make sure that I used up the yarns that I've had sitting away for a while. So I had these 4 balls of acrylic yarn that I bought a couple years ago that I figured would look great in a Fisherman's rib scarf and then be able to use it as gifts for people that really don't know how to take care of knitwears that well. So I made 2 Fisherman's rib in this red with like a gold fleck in it. And that's all it is. It's just a solid scarf, but I think that would be nice for a gift to a guy or even a woman that does not really want to take care of knitwear that much, or or just be able to throw it in the washing machine, yada yada yada. So I made 2 of those. And that's the finishes that I have in knitting so far. Then I kind of went gung-ho crazy with starts. So let me just push this stuff out of the way. And so the first start that I did was this one, and I haven't touched this one in a while, so I really want to get back to it. It is called the Rocky Mountain Spring Shawl by Cascade Yarns. So the Rocky Mountain Spring Shawl by Cascade Yarns. I'm not using the Eco Hemp that they suggest. I'm actually using yarn that I've had stashed away. So this looks like, so far, I'm using oh, and I forget what this is called. This is a Knit Picks yarn that I've had stashed away. And I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of it. It's a fingering weight yarn, but I'm using the cream and hunter green. And here is what it looks like. So that is one complete set of patterns, or the passes or stripes, and now it basically just repeats again and again. Again, wanting to use up all these patterns that I've actually started are all to use up yarn that I have stashed away. So I then started Wheat, which is a free pattern. These are all free patterns, by the way, also. This is a free pattern from the Simple Collection of Tin Can Knits. So that is what it looks like. It's basically a garter stitch with a rib built into it. And I'm also using acrylic yarn for this that I've had for a while. This is a Lion brand Heartland. And I'm using two colors. I'm using this as well as a blue. And here is what that one looks like. So the pattern calls for just one solid color. I wanted to put stripes and make it kind of like the Dentato scarf. And that is where it's at. This is the one I've been working on the most recently, just to try to get it done. Excuse all of the, I just put that stripe in last night and I need to weave in those ends. Again, it's a garter stitch with a rib section here on the side. And then lastly, let me see if I can find the here it is. I started a blanket. So I've had a whole lot of yarn that I had purchased from Hobby Lobby. This is the I Love This Yarn. And this is in the Sun Gold colorway. That I was planning on making a different blanket, and then that never ever came to fruition. So I found this pattern. This is from Universal Yarns. It's a free checkerboard pattern. And here is what it looks like so far. So I think I'm on, this is the third skein. Maybe it's the fourth skein. I think it's the third skein. But here is the pattern. So it's a nice checkerboard knit and purl, like a cover, and it's pretty, so far it's like half the length of my legs. And I'm just going to keep working at it. So what I do with this one is, because it is so large and it takes a little bit of time to do, whenever I do feel like knitting, I will pull this one out and just do a set of rows. I do make sure that if I'm going to start on one row or one set, I will do an entire set of checkers or checkerboard, and then I'll put it away and pull something else out. So just to keep working on this one and have it, hopefully maybe I finish this winter. So there is my knitting. So that is all of my knitting so far. Hold on one moment while I will be right back. Okay, now we're getting into the good stuff. Not that that stuff wasn't good stuff, but I have some pretty awesome stuff to show you in my cross stitch. First off, when I did finally pick up cross stitch again in end of July, I think, I decided to start something new, because the projects that I had working on were not really calling to me, and I had my new position, which means I had my own office that I had to fill up with cross stitch. So I pulled out the Vickery collection World Globes, because I knew I wanted to hang this in my office. And this was a gift to me a few years ago from Angie at BubMy on FlossTube. So this was a birthday gift for me in an exchange that we did. And I absolutely love this, obviously, because I have globes everywhere in my home. I have a world map and globes. So, old world map. I wanted to work on this. And I kind of got gung-ho. That's my go-to word, gung-ho today. And I worked on this straight through until I had to finish. Not straight through. I think I worked on something else during the weekends, but pretty much I worked on this until it was done. So here is the finished piece. This is on a piece of antique gold by Color Cotton. I think it's antique gold. It's something gold. So here is the finished piece. So this is a 32 count that I've stitched 2 over 2. Right? Yeah, 2 over 2. 2 over 2 on 32 count. And I think it looks pretty awesome. I can't wait to get it framed. The sizing is just odd enough that I think I'm going to have to buy a custom frame. But I think I'm going to order one online and then frame it myself. So there is World Globes by the Vickery collection. Very exciting. Love this one. Then, as I was excited to get this done, but I also wanted to pull out something else that was close to a finish. So I pulled out Lady the Flag. All I had left on Lady the Flag to do was beading and some backstitch down here at the bottom. I also wanted to retouch up the backstitch up here at the top, so I just did all the backstitch again. I pulled out what I did have done and I started it over again. And I have a finish. So let me see how I'm going to hold this because it's a huge piece of fabric. This is on a ½ yard of XJU Designs fabric in a custom dyed piece that I had done. I think the original color was Dark Sands, as I think is what it was called, but I asked for it slightly different or modified. And here is the, oh, there we go. There is the finish. The only thing I have left to do is put my signature on this, and I haven't figured out how I want to do it because I have a certain way I want to frame it, and I want to make sure that that will work before I go ahead and do that signature. So all of my beading is done, which took forever, people. It took like 3 weekends of beading. I'm not a beader. I don't like beading. All the beads on the dress. What is that? There is a needle on here. Don't know where that came from. Found a needle, people. Look at all those beads. Beads galore. But it looks great now that it's done. Because it was a 32 count that was hand dyed, it was pretty tight, so a lot of these bead sections I had to modify how many beads I actually put into the piece just because they didn't fit right. But it all turned out well. So like all of this section here has is modified based on space. These sections here are the same way. And there you go. Let's see if you can get the whole, there we go, there's the whole thing. It's a big piece. Okay. Then once I had both of those, then I had both two large finishes in like 2 days because of the timing of how it all worked out. So I was like, what else can I get finished? Because I am on a huge finishing kick. I really don't want to start anything new. I have no interest in starting anything new. I really just want to get all of those pieces that I have going done. So the one that I knew would be the quickest finish, that's the only finishes I had, by the way, was this piece that I started earlier in the year. And it's the Butternut Road Celtic banner. Pretty long piece. This is the top. This is the bottom. And I'm now at a point where I can scroll up my scroll frames, which is part of the reason why I finally came back and did a video with you guys. So let me show you what I have done so far. So the last you saw this, I think I was somewhere around here. So this is the bottom part of the pattern. When I picked it up, I had everything done up to this knot, Celtic knot. So then I decided to keep working and keep working and keep working and keep working. And that's where I'm at. I don't even think I can get all this in. Oh, there we go. Maybe. There we go. That's how much I have done so far. So it's very thin. This is on a 40 count coffee dyed by me of 40 count Verdal. I'm gonna have to roll this up again. But all I have left to do is the alphabet. The alphabet and the top border, and this piece will be complete. So I was hoping to continue to work on this, but of course, whenever I had to, I'm now at the point where the main color in the letters, I don't have enough of. So I need to run to Joann's and buy a skein or two of that. Otherwise, I should have this done in a week or so. And once I get that DMC, I am going to come back to this and finish this out, just so it is done. Because I want to have finishes, people. Finishes. I have such large pieces that take forever to finish, and I'm now to the point where I just want to get them done. So, that is the plan. Okay, I'm going to have to roll this up a little later, properly. And I just want to mention that this cross here in the middle, or not even in the middle, that cross there took forever. It has every single color that's in the pattern in that cross. Almost every single. I'm exaggerating a bit. Then lastly, because I couldn't work on this anymore, I was like, well, what can I work on until I get the DMC? So I decided to pull out London. I want this one done too, people. And I know this one's going to take a very long time to finish just because of how much I have to do. I still have the tower and this bridge, or I guess that's London Bridge and Elizabeth Tower. I still have to finish this gate and the telephone booth and this building here and Westminster Abbey. I have all of that I still need to do. But yesterday, I have all weekend to stitch, so I figured I would pull this out, and I started stitching. So there's London so far, and here is the rest of the gate basically blocked out, and I hated stitching that gate to begin with. This part of the gate took forever to do, and I still don't have any of the back stitching done because I'm waiting until the very end to do all the back stitching. And I started working on the gate, and then I was like, I got to work on something else or I'm going to lose my stitching motivation. So I then decided to push over and work on everything, or start working on that phone booth. So I'm going to work on that phone booth today until I get it done. I'll probably get the phone booth done today, hopefully. And then that'll be a nice breaking point to put this away until I get Celtic Banner done. Once Celtic Banner is done, I'm really going to go bring this back out and try to get this one pretty much done. I'm not going to guarantee that it's going to get done all in one go, but I have become pretty much a monogamous stitcher these last few months because I want to get all these finishes done, or I want to get all of these projects done that I have on the go. Now, so that's all the things that I've been working on in the last 5.5, 6 months. I have decided that I think my chatelaine, my tea house challenge chatelaine, is probably going to be restarted. I'm not happy with the way the stitching is coming up, and if I were to go back to it and start again, because there's no good way of marking the pattern or anything, I think it would just frustrate me beyond belief. So I think I'm going to restart that, and then whenever I do restart it, I'm going to work on that piece until the entire tea house part of the building is done, because it's 1/1. The pattern is very busy and confetti heavy, so I want to make sure that I give it justice and I get it done properly and correctly so that I'm happy with it. From there, then I can work on other things because it's more of the specialty stitches and 2/2 and stuff like that. So that then wouldn't be too hard to follow. It's just that main building in the center is just way too confetti heavy to be able to not complete it fully. So that will be a plan whenever I do want to get back to that, which I would like to get that done someday soon. I have the entire kit for it. Luckily, everything that I have done is all DMC, so I'm not losing out on too much product. Other than that, that's all I have planned for because I really want to knock out these projects. So my plans are just to continue working on these things until they're done. And, you know, maybe I'll have a new starter or something. I don't know. I'm just going with it. Right now, I have that finishing urge. From there, so after this is done, or the only two pieces that I have not shown you are my Amsterdam piece that I had just barely started, and that's it. And I also just remembered as I was pulling things out of the closet to show you was that I also have my Fragments in Time. I completely forgot about my Fragments in Time. I think I have 3 of the 8 done. So I would like to get back to those and work on those sometime soon. Again, I'm in no hurry for those ones. Those are nice small pieces to break up the monotony, but I would like to get everything done. So with that, I hope you all have a wonderful week, a wonderful time. Until I see you again, I'm not going to make any promises on when I will see you. But until then, have a great time, happy stitching, and as always, don't forget to always be creative.